Tiramisu is a classic Italian dessert. Today we're going to make a little twist on that. We're going to make an orange or Grand Marnier tiramisu. It means pick me up, and I bet you it's going to do that for you. Tiramisu is really easy to make. There are only really two components. It's layers of ladyfingers with a mascarpone cream custard in between. Then you chill it in the fridge so that it sets up and you can cut it and serve it to your guests. Let's start with that cream filling because that's the trickiest part, but it's really not that tricky. We're gonna start with some egg yolks, 6 egg yolks. We're gonna separate those egg yolks over a bowl here to catch the whites. Save that for something else, like a souffle. I separate egg whites, tossing that yolk back from one side to the other of the shell, but it's tricky because if that yolk breaks, you're not going to be able to whip whites. Another way to do that is just to pour that egg into your hand and let the white fall through your fingers. Your hand generally doesn't have any rough edges, so that's a safer way to do it. Egg whites freeze really well, so if you don't have a use for your egg whites right now, put them into a zipper sealable bag, put them in the freezer, and you'll have some egg whites for later. We're gonna use these yolks. We're gonna mix those 6 egg yolks with about 3/4 of a cup of sugar, and we're gonna whisk it. We wanna cook those eggs ever so slightly, so we're gonna whisk it over some boiling water. If you have a double boiler, great. If you don't, you're gonna use a bowl just over this water, whisk it for a full 5 minutes. So whisking for 5 minutes can feel like a really long time, but it's important because that's the only opportunity the yolks get to get cooked for this dessert. So take them off after 5 minutes. They should be nice and thick, light in color. You shouldn't feel too much of that sugar graininess anymore. Set that aside to cool. Every once in a while, give it a whisk. That'll help it cool a little faster. Now we're gonna make the rest of the ingredients that go in that cream custard mascarpone layer. First thing we need, mascarpone cheese. What is it? Well, it's a cheese. It's an Italian cream cheese. Really smooth, slightly sweet, absolutely delicious. You'll probably find this in the deli section of your grocery store. We're gonna take this and we're going to lighten it up with the hand mixer just a little bit so that it's not quite so solid as it is when you get it right out of the case. Okay, so with your hand mixer or a stand mixer, if you prefer, just beat this up until it's just broken up. That should be good enough. Now we're gonna add some heavy cream and we're gonna beat this all together into a nice, airy, creamy layer that we will then fold into our egg custard. Once your beaters start to leave a path in that cream, go ahead and add our flavoring ingredients. We're gonna add a little bit of pure vanilla extract. We're also gonna add the zest of an orange. This is gonna give us that orange flavor in the custard. I like to use a microplane to do this. It gets just that very orange part of the peel, which is all the flavor, and none of that white pith, which is bitter. So all of that zest goes into the cream along with the vanilla. We're going to beat it up just until it's nice and thick. That's beautiful, just like that, soft peak phase. Now let's take this mixture and fold it into our egg custard. Our egg custard is thicker, so we're gonna lighten it up a little bit with some of the cream, and then we'll gradually fold it all together. So just a little bit of this at first, and fold it over. When I fold, I actually sort of draw a J in the bowl, running that spatula down the center, and then turning it over on top of itself. You'll see this mixture get a lot lighter, and then you can add some more. Continue to fold this way until it's all mixed together and you see no more streaks of white. You might even want to run a whisk through it one more time just to make sure that it's nice and airy. So now I'm just gonna run that whisk through just one more time to give it one last good beating. And that's the custard made. That's the hardest part. We're done. We're gonna set that aside and we're gonna start building this tiramisu. So there's our mascarpone cream custard. So pretty, light and delicious. How do we know? Because we taste it. Now's when, if you want more orange flavor, you can add it, but I think you'll be amazed at how that orange zest really adds a light, lovely orange flavor. We're gonna set this aside. Now let's talk about the other component, which are ladyfingers. These are ladyfingers. They are little sponge cakes in the shape of, well, ladies' fingers. You're gonna find them either in the bakery section of your grocery store, possibly in the gourmet part of your grocery store, or maybe in the produce section next to the berries, where you'll find other things for things like strawberry shortcake. We're gonna take these and we're gonna douse them or soak them in orange flavor. Where are we gonna get that orange flavor? From a little bit of orange juice and some Grand Marnier. Grand Marnier, of course, a very famous orange liqueur. We're gonna take 3 tablespoons of this and add that to the orange juice. Okay, now let's dredge and build this tiramisu with our ladyfingers and our mascarpone cream custard. You're gonna take a layer of these. Sometimes I do 3 at a time, sometimes 6 at a time, and just dip them in the liquid quickly. And then I put them cut side down into a 9x9 square glass dish. You'll probably get about 7 fingers across the bottom. And we're gonna do 3 layers of these all the way across the bottom of the pan. Now it might look at the end that it's not gonna fit, but you're just gonna squish them down a little bit because they're wet. They will move for you and make room. Okay, 1 layer of the ladyfingers down on the bottom. Then we're gonna take some of our cream custard, half of it, and put it down here. I like to make a tiramisu in a glass baking dish so you can see those layers on the side. This one happens to be blue. If you have a clear one, even better. Okay, with that layer down, we're gonna go back and do more ladyfingers soaked into that orange juice Grand Marnier liquid, and layer them just the same way you did before. Tiramisu traditionally is soaked with espresso. It's a coffee flavored dessert. I think the orange really makes it lighter and a little more fun and for summertime. Squeeze that little 7th ladyfinger right into the end there. We wanted them to be packed tightly so that when they set up, it's easier to cut. Okay, 7 ladyfingers across, 3 ladyfingers deep. Let's get the rest of that mascarpone cream custard on top. And smooth it out. Now, one way to help yourself there is to give it a bang on the table. That can even out your top layer. Last final step to make it really look like tiramisu is to take some cocoa powder and we're gonna dust it through a very fine strainer all over the top of the tiramisu. Just like this. This is a little bit tricky because it makes people think this is a traditional tiramisu instead of the delicious, light, lovely orange flavor that it is. Now this is gonna take some time in the refrigerator to set up so that it's able to be cut. It's gonna take 3 hours to overnight. So I say, make this a day ahead of time. So your tiramisu needs to be nice and cool, well chilled in order to cut it. But to help yourself along, get a warm, wet towel and a good sharp knife. The first slice, always hard to get out, but you know, once people taste it, they'll forgive you for no matter what it looks like. Let's cut. Nice square here. Wipe your knife in between each cut so you can have a nice clean cut. And then we're gonna also go down the sides here just to make sure it's looser. And we'll give it our best shot. And there we go. A little tiramisu for you. We're gonna garnish it with a little bit of candied orange peel on the side. Candied orange peel is orange peel that you've taken off the orange with no pith. You boil it in water and sugar equal parts for about an hour and then roll it in granulated sugar and let it dry. This is so pretty, you'll make friends and it'll cheer you up.